The Notorious Bachelor. Written by Elizabeth Griffin. Performed by Connor Brown. Prologue. The entire world was tweeting about Bryce Carson, the 23-year-old virgin from Tennessee who spoke with a slight Southern accent and still kept to the genteel manners of a Confederate gentleman. The young maverick was on the minds of many people. His social media accounts were being flooded with unique visitors anxious to discover more details about the unlikely virgin. How could such a thing be? Why would any man choose to remain abstinent for so long? Was it a publicity stunt? Could it be a ploy to promote the actor's current film? Or was it simply his religious conviction? Speculations were running rampant. Many of his female fans were romanticizing about his decision to remain celibate. He was being viewed as an honorable man in a dishonorable time. Bryce's cell phone was ringing nonstop. Everyone wanted to talk to him. The media wanted to get his story, but he had nothing to say. The requests for television interviews were numerous. All of the major news networks were vying to get an exclusive one-on-one with the hottest actor in Hollywood, but he was not interested in a tell-all interview. He was not going to reveal it all to the cameras. His sexual status was a private matter. He owed the public no explanation about the secret pact he had made with his two younger brothers. Hell, most people wouldn't even believe that three extremely handsome teenage boys would willingly decide to wait until marriage before indulging in sex. That was simply unheard of behavior. It was an utterly pointless type of torture. Who would make such a sacrifice? It made no sense. The superstar was contending with the media blitz surrounding his personal life, as well as his box office hit, The Clash of Two Nations. The movie had grossed close to $500 million during its opening week, and ticket sales were still continuing to climb. The film had also received 9 nominations for Hollywood's Golden Oscar, including one for the Best Motion Picture of the Year. Bryce was Hollywood's sexiest innocent, according to the Entertainment Weekly magazine. He was a young man who contradicted the current times. He was a man of principle, a man of distinct character. The blonde-haired, green-eyed actor from the Upper South was an affirmation to many people of the existence of true Christian values. He was a symbol of clean, wholesome living. He'd obviously been raised right. In a world full of free pornography, liberal rights, and too much political correctness, this newest member of the Golden Guild was a radical change from the norm. Bryce was #the sexiest American virgin. #too damn good to be true. #hottest member of the V Club. Facebook was alive with messages of shocked approval at the sexual status of the young actor. He was the quintessential all-American good guy. He had no strings of angry ex-lovers. He'd broken no hearts. He was the man that every woman wanted to introduce to her family. He was young, rich, and talented. He was white, bright, and just beginning his life. What woman would not want to share that journey with him? Bryce stood before the floor-length glass-pane window overlooking City Center, Philadelphia. He glanced down at the construction crews that seemed to be everywhere. He was impressed with the changing business district. He liked witnessing all of the tearing down and building up of a community. It reminded him of home, of clearing the crop fields after a harvest, of readying the land and making way for the next season of planting. He loved growth and change. It was how he wanted to live his life, never standing still, never waiting for something to happen. Bryce sighed as he thought of the South. He hadn't stood in the sweet state of Tennessee for almost a year. He hadn't seen his family for the same length of time, and he silently missed them both. He'd never pick up the phone and tell them so, but he did. He was lonesome, especially when he thought of his brothers, Colton and Fury. Right now, they were probably exercising the horses on the family farm or practicing for the upcoming rodeo state competition. He wished he was alongside them, bucking up and down in a saddle as they worked on their riding techniques. But he wasn't. Bryce Carson was instead contemplating his next move as he turned to face his business agent, Leonard Gaines. He was not particularly pleased with the dealings of the older man. He had expected a certain degree of loyalty. "Why did you do it?" Bryce asked, leveling the question at the man who had been managing his professional image for the past 7 years. He was still having trouble believing that he'd been betrayed by the father-like figure seated behind the desk. The young actor examined the golden-brown, leather-worn face of Leonard Gaines. His eyes briefly focused on the deep lines and grooves that were etching a pattern of premature aging at the corner of the man's eyes and along the sides of the man's mouth. No doubted, Bryce thought. The process had been aided by the ultraviolet rays of an angry sun and an ozone layer that was rapidly disappearing. The charismatic cowboy with dueling dimples and a slow Tennessee drawl continued. "I told you those things in private. They were not supposed to be used against me like a weapon. Why would you leak details about my sex life to the public? What was the point? Are you trying to sabotage my career? My image?" Leonard considered denying the accusations, but realized that being truthful was his best defense. Why lie about something that could be easily verified and traced back to him? He also did not want to further alienate himself from his high-profile client. That would not do, especially since he had invested so much effort into the successful acting career of the man standing before him. Leonard had already achieved his objective. The world was raving about his actor. It was now time for damage control, and quickly. "I am doing my job," announced Leonard. "This is what you pay me for. You will win that Oscar. You have shown the world your talent. You've put in the hard work. Now it's time to ensure the payoff. And how will you do that?" demanded Bryce. "No, do not answer that. I have already seen you in action. I know what you are capable of, but I do not want that kind of help. I do not want you trying to manipulate the Academy voters. Get rid of that idea." "It's too late. The magic has already begun. I simply opened the genie's bottle. You've done the rest." His smile was epic. "Your lack of a sex life has struck a real chord with America. You are all that everyone in Hollywood is talking about. But that's not what I want. I am now a spectacle. People are not talking about the clash of two nations. They do not care about the Academy Awards. They just want to know when I'm going to have sex or which woman is going to catch me. The Oscar nominations have been sideswiped by this fiasco. The movie has taken a back seat to this scandal, and you have exposed my entire life to the public. Bryce, you are a role model. Embrace it." "No, I am an actor," he interrupted his friend with a raised voice. "I make pictures. I tell stories. That's what I do. That's what I want to be known for, but you are making it very difficult right now. The voters will get to see another side of you. This is simply politicking. Get used to it," advised Leonard. He surveyed the unhappy young man and was grateful that he had discovered the sex symbol at a national horse convention. The agent had taken one look at the 16-year-old and his whole life had changed. Leonard Gaines's career had skyrocketed when the horse enthusiast signed the rodeo cowboy as his client. But that was a long time ago, Gaines thought. Once Bryce Carson won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, no one would deny that the country star was an A-lister. The vetted actor would be able to earn top dollar. Leonard resumed speaking. "You are brilliant on the silver screen, but you are also a remarkable young man when the cameras aren't filming. There are not too many men holding off until their wedding night. That is amazing. I couldn't do it. Like it or not, you are making a statement." "Do not sit there behaving like you did me a favor," warned Bryce, moving toward the exit door. "You crossed me. You crossed the line. Now it is my turn to break a few rules." "What is that supposed to mean? Where are you going?" demanded Leonard, rising from his office chair. "Wait, Bryce, just slow down a bit instead of storming off in a cloud of fumes. Talk to me. Say something." "I am finished talking. I'm done." "What's that supposed to mean?" The manager became agitated. "You aren't walking out on me. You can't. You have commitments to fulfill. That morning television interview is coming up. Don't blow it by not showing up, he yelled out. Leonard did not like the defiant look on his client's face. He also did not like the angry energy that sprung from Bryce's body. Could the entertainment agent have made a mistake? Was his plan to influence the Academy Award voters about to backfire? He had simply leaked the story because it was unique enough to gain the attention of many of the members of Hollywood's elite. Most of the voters were over the age of 60, and Leonard assumed that they would find the news of a 23-year-old virgin fascinating. It was a novelty amongst the community of actors, film directors, screenwriters, costume designers, and musical composers. Leonard hoped that some of them would even find the personal details of Bryce Carson's life commendable, and perhaps it would subconsciously influence their voting decision. The business manager had considered it worth the risk, but now he was uncertain of that calculated plan. Had he underestimated Bryce Carson's reaction? Had he gone too far? What did the man's last statement mean? Leonard stared after the stubborn young actor, expecting to hear some type of explanation. He needed a heads up. What was the man about to do? Be rational, Bryce. Come back here. The actor continued to walk while his words trailed him to the door. His temper was finally getting the better of him. He paused, but did not turn around. You stuck me in the middle of this mess. Since this thing broke, I have been receiving sex invites from women I do not know. Total strangers are leaving their panties on the windshield of my car. This is a nightmare. Female co-stars who I had previously considered as friends suddenly want to become my lovers, enlightened Bruce with a slight southern accent. This is too much. It's like a bonfire about to rage out of control, but I'm not getting caught up in the flames. Before I get burned, I am going to fix this. I will get my privacy back, he concluded, before walking out of the business office. This has been The Notorious Bachelor. Written by Elizabeth Griffin. Performed by Connor Brown. Copyright 2017 by Elizabeth Griffin. Production copyright 2019 by Elizabeth Griffin and Gore Publications.